Peace and power to all the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. What up, what up? Hope everybody had a good few days. It's been a while since I came live. Just starting off this podcast series. I just thank everybody for your support. Oh, there goes my light. Okay, we have light. I just want to thank everybody for their support. Checking out b1initiative.org. That is our nonprofit, the sponsor of my broadcast. And the brothers and sisters there are doing an amazing job at building Sankofapedia, free Afrocentric online encyclopedia. That's something that's going to be available in January. If you want to help us create articles for Sankofapedia, then we encourage brothers and sisters to check out our website, join our mailing list, and join the Discord. Most importantly, join the Discord and let us know that you would like to be a writer. You can also email us at contactus@b1initiative.org. What up? What up? So, a lot has been going on in the news lately. There's been a lot of things going on, and I wanted to make a kind of brief video about it, and I felt like it'd be a good time to test out this new platform, so that we can have like more of an intricate discussion about it, a more detailed discussion. Dive into some details. Um, but There's been quite an upstir as far as Diddy is concerned, and as far as Marcellus Williams. Uh, I hear that his Muslim name, I'm not sure, the name he would prefer to go by was Khalifa. So Marcellus Khalifa Williams. Um, yeah, he's another brother that was lynched by the white supremacist power structure, to make an example of him. Um, I'm not too familiar with the details of his case, and I guess that's something we can go over together here. But it just seems like there was enough evidence for the uh, for the uh, conviction to not be upheld, or at least for there to be further investigation into the charges. It seems like they had found DNA evidence, or lack of DNA evidence, rather, was the reason that you know he should have at least been given a life sentence, to give more time for them to find out whether or not this was something that a man should be put to death for. But being a black man in America, you really don't have to do much to be put to death by the police. you know, all you got to do is stand on the corner uh, selling cigarettes, and they'll put you down. So uh, his case, it should radicalize us. It should upset us. I was very you know upset. Now understanding that we know that the white supremacist system is going to do whatever it wants to do with our black bodies. We have to understand that this was the most likely outcome. So I can't say I was disappointed, but at the same time, injustice is injustice. And too often, when injustice happens to black people shrug their shoulders and move on. That's part of a survival mentality that we've had to adopt. Kendrick Lamar actually talks about this in a song, where basically, we'll just go through a trauma, drink, smoke, cope with it in the moment, and then the next morning wake up and it's back to the plantation. Keep us busy. So that way we don't ever want to focus on the real solutions to our problems, but rather just the problems, just the emotions of the problems, just feeling like, we can get over it. We're tough. So I wanted to watch some videos with y'all. A video going over Marcellus and what he went through. So let's watch this together. Let's see what's going on here.
A lot of talk in the media about Marcellus Williams, convicted of fatally stabbing former newspaper reporter Felicia Gale in her home
she was a reporter.
in 1998. Williams was executed by lethal injection in Missouri last night. But his murder conviction has been called into question by both prosecutors and the victims' families. And look, I agree with those saying if there's any uncertainty at all, they should have at least delayed the execution. But what the media often ignores in a cause celeb case like this is the evidence that actually led to his conviction, which we'll talk about in a moment.
But a deeply unsettling question remains. Was Marcellus Williams innocent?
We will remember him for his deeply evocative poetry and his love for and service to his family and his community. The world will be a worse place without him. Williams is the third inmate executed in Missouri and the 15th in this country this year. He was 55 years old. He will never be older because Missouri is a state and we are a country that maintains a system of official killing without mercy, even amidst evidence of innocence.
So why did the governor, the state Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court decide not to intervene? At the time, prosecutors argued Williams broke into Gale's home, stabbed her 43 times with a kitchen knife, also taking her personal laptop. Gale's personal belongings were allegedly found in Williams' car, and the laptop was apparently sold by Williams shortly after the murder. But his attorney, Tricia Rojo Bushnell, said jurors didn't know the whole story.
The other piece of evidence that they use is a laptop that Mr. Williams did sell that was from the victim's home. But what the jury never heard and what the courts continue to just ignore is that laptop was provided to him by one of those incentivized informants who herself should have been a suspect, but instead was allowed to testify and get deals and sentence this man to death.
Williams, who has a long criminal history, including 15 felony convictions, ended up being convicted of first-degree murder, even though no physical evidence connected him to the crime scene. In addition to the laptop, his murder conviction relied on the testimony of two witnesses, jailhouse informant named Henry Cole, to whom he supposedly confessed, and the woman who she was referring to, his ex-girlfriend Laura Asaro, who allegedly found Gale's purse in Williams' car, leading Williams to confess to the crime. Both witnesses came forward after a $10,000 reward was announced.
All right, hold on. Laura who? Hold on now. We got to go back. Hold on. What's happening? Laura Asaro. Let's look up who Laura Asaro is. Laura Asaro. Can we find an image of Laura Asaro? I don't know. These are all white women. I don't know. Did Marcellus get snow bunny? That's what Dr. Umar calls it. Lord, snow bunnied. That's what he calls it. I don't know. That's interesting. I never heard of. Has anyone ever heard of a black woman named Asaro? I don't know. That sounds kind of interesting. We gotta look that up. Somebody, if y'all could find. Hold on. Maybe I should type in girlfriend. Was it Dasaro? They don't got no pictures of her. I never heard a black woman with that last name, Asaro or Dasaro. I'm not sure. It sounded like he said Asaro, but it keeps auto-correcting to Dasaro. I don't know why it's not opening. That's wild. Ain't no pictures of her. It's just pictures of him. All right, let's get back to it.
Sorrow, who allegedly found Gail's purse in Williams' car, leading Williams to confess to the crime. Both witnesses came forward after a $10,000 reward was announced. Innocence Project saying the victim's family opposes his execution. Jurors who originally sentenced him to death now oppose his execution. The prosecutor's office that convicted him and sentenced him to death has now admitted they were wrong and zealously fought to undo the conviction and save Mr. Williams. The biggest issue with the physical evidence? Hair and bloody footprints found at the scene were not a match for Williams. In a move we don't see often, both sides came together to try and halt the execution. Williams' legal team, St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell, filed a joint filing alleging, among other things, that DNA evidence was contaminated. Keep in mind, Bell was not the original prosecutor, and he's running for Congress as a Democrat. All the appeal efforts and new evidence, Governor Mike Parsons saying, "We hope this gives finality to a case that's languished for decades, re-victimizing Ms. Gale's family for decades. No juror, no judge has ever found Mr. Williams' innocence claim to be credible. In more than 15 judicial hearings upheld his guilty conviction. Thus, the order of execution has been carried out." Look, I'm torn about this case, but those saying this should have been, an easy decision, may be ignoring the actual evidence here. Joining me now, Geraldo Rivera, who's covered as many as anyone. He's also an attorney. And Randy Zellen, a former prosecutor who still believes there was enough evidence to convict. All right, Geraldo, what do you make of the decision that they went forward with the execution?
That it was totally unnecessary, borderline shameful. What the hell was this about? Normally.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't really listen to the when I watch the news, I don't really start listening to the honky opinions. What's about to happen there. So I don't really do that. But kind of wild. So apparently sounds like his quote unquote girlfriend sold him out. But the thing is, there's no physical evidence actually linking him to anything. So no matter how compelling the story is or compelling any of that is, no one should be, giving capital punishment if the evidence is not clear. You know what I'm saying? It should be abundantly clear. So very interesting, very telling. But yeah, I've been watching this whole thing, man. Rest in power to our ancestor now, Marcellus Khalifa Williams. Sounds like that's something I can imagine it's hard for anybody to grapple with. Thank you, sweetheart. That's something that's hard to grapple with, having to anticipate that you won't see another day because the white's power structure is going to put it into your life. So, yeah, that's the thing. Just something I thought we should talk about, I think it's very telling as well. How, and I just made a video about this on TikTok, how there's people in Springfield, Ohio right now, that are upset that they believe Haitian people are eating their dogs. And for their pets, about some animals, they're acting like animals. There's been 33 bomb threats in schools in Springfield. There's been death threats to people that are citizens, Haitian citizens in Ohio. There's also been people being randomly assaulted, Haitian and non-Haitian, because whatever happens to Haitian people It's going to happen to African Americans. It's going to happen to Africans. It's going to happen to other Caribbean people. It's going to happen because they can't tell us apart. You know, how can you tell? How, like, what is a Haitian phenotype? It doesn't exist. We all look like Africans. So at the end of the day, an attack on them is an attack on all of us. Interesting how, it's not interesting, it's telling how white people will threaten the lives of human beings, or they might not see us as human, to threaten the lives. Okay, I think we're back. Might have had a little bit of a connection issue. I think we're back. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my wife. No, I'm not on TikTok yet. I see it froze. I'm not sure what's going on with the connection here. Connection issues. Okay, so looks like I'm having a bit of technical. Not sure what's going on, to be honest. But anyway, we're back. Y'all might have to skip those past, like, I don't know, 2 minutes in the video. Sorry about that. But anyway, so this whole Diddy thing is a bit of a distraction from, some of the things that's going on in politics this year. It's too perfectly timed. You know what I'm saying? Too perfectly timed. We're going through an election, and all of a sudden, everything is about Diddy. And as much as, I think that's, I think if the allegations are true, then, Diddy should be held responsible. Some of those allegations are crazy. I haven't read the indictment myself, but I've watched videos where lawyers have discussed the indictment and read it, read through the indictment. Man, it's a lot in there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dr. Umar. I understand that when a black man is so-called held accountable by our oppressor in ways that white men are not held accountable, it is unfair. It is injustice. At the end of the day, though, Diddy should have knew better. Let's be honest. Diddy should have knew better. Can we be honest? He should have known he was not a white man. He should have known, hey, wait a minute. They can get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. This guy, it's like being a black billionaire is like joining the Klan. If a black man were to join the Klan, then he gets treated unfairly by the Klan because the Klan's not going to treat his black ass the same way that they would treat white men in the Klan. then you should know not to behave like your fellow Klan members, right? Like, you should know that the environment that you're in is racist and is going to cause harm if, especially, you act like you have privilege that you don't have. You know what I'm saying? Diddy shouldn't have been acting like that. And the fact that he was in the position to be compromised so much as to perpetuate this type of harmful behavior and try to gain politically and monetarily from this hostile environment. Like, the whole reason he was there was because bro was trying to get money from white folks. That's like joining the Klan. Anytime a black man or woman gets a whole bunch of money from the white supremacist power structure, they think they own you now. That's the thing. Like, we're victims of capitalism. When the white man or white woman pays us, we think that they're paying us. We get money from them and we think that they're paying us. But really, they're paying for us. You know what I'm saying? Anytime money is given to a black person in a system of capitalism, it wasn't to pay us. It's been to pay for us. That's how it got started in the first place. Diddy, man, they own you. In their minds, they own you. And so you acting like you free and acting like you can do what other rich folks can do was the problem. And what you should have been doing for your community, talking all that love and this and that and the third, you should have understood your position and played your role in our community. As a black billionaire, started schools, hospitals, grocery stores, distribution center, or open up a bank. You could have opened up a bank that connects to the resources in Africa, to where it's ethical enough for them to get paid, and to not, at least in certain regions. If you couldn't do the whole country, you can't do the whole continent. You're a billionaire. I mean, there's a lot he could have figured out. At least open a school, man. At least open a school. Open a school here in America for black children to learn their history from their own scholars. Get the best minds together. You're a billionaire. At least one school. I'm just saying. He could have did a lot. A grocery store chain. Diddy, you're willing to poison our community with alcohol. In the context of black people, alcohol is a coping mechanism for racism. We use it to self-medicate for all the microaggressions and oppression that we face in the system of white supremacy. We think it helps our depression. It actually makes it worse. But it makes you feel good in the moment. And that's all a survivor cares about, is what feels good in the moment. A survivor's not thinking about tomorrow because they don't know if they're going to survive. So you're willing to sell this poison to us, poison owned, endorsed by you, but you ain't willing to build nothing with us? You ain't willing to build nothing for us? I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get Diddy's sympathy from me. Shout out to Dr. Umar. I understood his point, but you're not going to get Diddy's sympathy from me. I'm not going for it. And I think we need to think critically about anyone that calls himself a black billionaire. Any black person that is rewarded by a system of capitalism built on the backs of our ancestors being bought as property is property to some white man somewhere. There's no independent black billionaires. You don't get to the B's without selling yourself at some point. You have to be sold and bought. They're not going to empower an independent black person to the point where they're billionaires. That would be dangerous. You have to be willing to compromise. You have to align yourself in some way. You know, you got to, be willing to harm your community, because capitalism is harming your community. Now, I understand, because when you talk like this, some people look at themselves as capitalists, right? So they decide they want to defend capitalism, well, the world is capitalistic, so it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do. Black man, black woman, sorry to break it to you, you are not a capitalist. You are not a capitalist. You are a victim of capitalism. You're a victim of capitalism. You're not a capitalist. You can't be a capitalist. To produce capital makes you a capitalist. And according to Neely Fuller Jr., there's 3 ways to do it. We can get into that. But at the end of the day, we can't produce capital because we're not the ones printing the money. At the end of the day, now you can create a product that can, generate a lot of money, and you can steal it. Pretty much, those are the 3 ways you can gain capital. Still don't make you a capitalist. At the end of the day, for us as people using capitalism, the only way for us to survive in this system is to be able to get money. Diddy, however, was not surviving anymore. Beyond surviving, he spent God knows how much on freak-off orgies. God knows how much on expensive cars, houses, boats, and jewelry, expensive clothes. Like, can you imagine how much this man has spent? And all of this money is because the black community supported him. So all of this money started off coming from our community. The reason the white community invested in him was because the black community already invested in him. We were the first investors before the white money came in. Once the white money got there, like I said, that's when you become a B. That's when you become a billionaire. There's no such thing as an ethical billionaire. In order to become a billionaire, you need to create victims of capitalism. You need to create victims. So when we look at Diddy, we understand that he positioned himself to no longer be a slave, but instead a slave owner. And understand that during the institution of slavery, there were black slave owners. There were black slave owners that treated black people better than the white slave owners. A lot of them would buy their family members, but there were black slave owners. There were black bourgeoisie. And Diddy, Jay-Z, or Beyonce, these are people that have been rewarded by the white power structure and haven't done anything with those rewards that they've gained to build